Discourse 17. February 6, 1938, San Francisco, California. Beloved students and friends, while I know quite well you are not looking for it, yet shall I give you outwardly some reward for your great love and kindness, which has made it possible in this class to do for you, your city and America, that which is far beyond anything we had expected to accomplish. The human creation has been completely dissolved and consumed for 373 people who have been in this class. We could scarcely have hoped for such an achievement. We feel it quite unnecessary to enumerate those individuals, but I am sure within a few days, many will know definitely. In the limited human concepts, I realize it is not easy for you to comprehend what your beloved Saint Germain has accomplished in Europe. This is the point I wish every one of you to know definitely. You have been a part of that accomplishment by the harmony, the love and kindness which you have released here. Do you clearly and fully understand yet, the release of your energy through the atomic structure of your body is imperative in our need today? We must have a contact through the physical substance of Earth. We have left this octave, and it is mankind who has created these conditions. Individuals must of their own volition release energy through the human structure, which makes it possible for us to give the assistance mankind needs. It would be impossible, and I say so frankly, for people of their own volition, without our assistance, to protect themselves in America today. I think you do not comprehend beloved Saint Germain's reference to what he did in Europe. It should have conveyed to you the need of our assistance. The law of life is such, we may not intrude ourselves upon you, much as we have always wished to give assistance. There are enough in America understanding the presence, and each day the understanding is growing clearer, for the students everywhere to know the necessity of releasing this energy. Why do you suppose we urged the use of these decrees? Because we found it the only and possibly the best manner of getting you to release the energy which we require. We amplify the energy required to perform this service of protection for you and America. I think you more clearly than ever before understand it. You have had the proof in your own experience here of what it means to step up your decrees and your singing to a certain tempo, which gives a joyous release of the energy. Do you realize there is a balance in every activity of life? Your scales for weighing the precious metals are a very good example. When the scale of life stands at balance, all the forces of your being are working harmoniously and to the greatest constructive purpose, but if one side is at a low ebb, then you are not working to the best advantage. When your decrees and songs lag in tempo, it means you are not coming up to the point where you are releasing this energy which we require. I am very happy to make this so clear to you. I want you blessed ones in San Francisco and Los Angeles to know our feeling. At the close of this class today, we feel that not in 400 years have San Francisco and Los Angeles been as safe as they are today. You may all who are earnest and sincere, justly take credit for it. I want you, everyone who is sincere and in earnest, to feel how great a part you are of this mighty activity. It does not make one particle of difference whether you are a frail lady, a child, or a frail gentleman. You can make your firm, determined, sincere call to the presence, and it is the imperative need. It is the intensity and honesty of purpose which is needed so greatly today, because the atmosphere of the world is charged with deceit. In the outer activities of mankind, many people have conceived the idea, if one were a little sharper and more alert in his employing of shrewd business activities, and could put something over on another, it was all right. That day has passed, beloved ones, forever from the earth, and no one will ever again succeed in the future who practices deceit. Whether it be in achievement or your business activity of the outer world, the balance of the scales of life is going to be compelled by the great cosmic light. You will remember this for some years to come. You can scarcely hope for things to be miraculously transformed, but you can enter into great harmony and perfection, regardless of many of mankind who must still make application. You cannot have perfection, you cannot have freedom, without your own earnest, sincere application. That is your part of the balance to life. Life has been supplying you with energy all through the centuries, and what have you given back to life? The only judge of that is your higher mental body. It has a full and complete record as to the constructive or destructive activities which you have served. After all which has been said, I am quite sure now, you realize not one human being can be free, who refuses to give obedience to our humble requests and maintain harmony in the feeling. Let us draw a crude illustration. In your electrical powerhouse, which supplies the current of energy for your cities, if the wheels and other things in that mechanism were out of order, how long do you think you would have your electricity or light? Your feeling world represents identically the same thing to you, because it is your powerhouse. If it is in turmoil and you are disturbed, then how can the light within you go forth and harmonize and accomplish what you wish? You do not know what I know, but I shall tell you something today, and if you care to believe me, you will see in contemplation how true it is. Do you think it is just your physical efforts which accomplish things in the outer world? Beloved ones, it is the light, the energy of your presence, which goes forth before you and accomplishes what you desire. When you realize harmony is the imperative thing in your feeling, so this energy may flow forth and go out in its full power, its purity, its perfection, then you will have no difficulty in making yourself successful in your outer efforts, in the outer world. Until mankind understands that, the people will go on in their distress and limitations. As students today, there is no longer the slightest excuse for you not having what you need for your happiness and comfort. You should be able to govern the vibratory action about you, and call forth the power of your presence, to draw about you the effects or things your heart craves. You might say, how about our families who do not agree with us? That is a very important point. The true understanding of this presence is the greatest harmonizing perfecting activity in the entire universe. Now why have so many seeming disagreements occurred in families? Because the human tried to be the door. Precious ones, now think it over. I urge you never to argue the question of this understanding with anyone, your family or anyone else. Leave all free to come to this understanding and into it, whenever they are ready. If you pull them in by urging, they are very apt to begin to try to pick flaws. If people come in of their own volition, they come because the light within them has drawn them, and it will be the rarest thing for them to ever turn aside for any length of time. As the messengers have told you, this light, this understanding which beloved Saint Germain has brought to you, is clear. It is all-powerful. It is mighty to set mankind free, and I say to you as one of authority, you will not have any knowledge, any application, any information, any instruction come forth, which will even touch it, in the next 200 or 300 years. You will remember, when this understanding was to come forth, even before the messengers knew it, we decided with those from Venus in the Royal Teton, this I am activity must come forth in simple language which the layman and the child could understand. All technical terminology, all foreign expression must be left out, because America was the cup of light of the future, and the only spot on the face of this earth where there was a possibility of bringing about the right condition for the incoming golden age. Would you like me to tell you in figures, how many more will join you in the next 6 months? I do not mean just here, but all over the United States and in different parts of the world, and I mean by that those who will come into the application of the work. You have a little more than 374,000 members, I believe now. I have not checked it up myself, but beloved Saint Germain has the record, and when the messengers return to the Shrine class in July, there will be more than 200,000 added to that number. I shall not say how many more. This should be of sufficient encouragement for you all to know, unless this were the eternal truth of life, it could not expand and draw to itself its own. You have seen all of the various angles of truth already. Those who have been drawn to this I am activity far exceed anything else. This has brought true understanding. In this ascended master understanding, you have the culmination of all. There is not one thing left unsaid, or unexplained by which you may gain your victory. Therefore, those who will stand by and apply it, will have their eternal freedom. I say to you, as one who has authority to set aside time and space, to dissolve and consume the human accumulation, the creation of individuals, and to remove the discarnates from the earth, there is not one of you, who cannot have your freedom in every way quickly, by 2 simple things. Since you have come to know the beloved mighty I am presence, take a firm unyielding stand to hold harmony in your feeling and make your earnest application. There is not one of you, who could not be free in 6 months. I trust those, for whom their own human creations have been dissolved and consumed, will feel and take advantage of the opportunity with greater power in their application, greater intensity, greater earnestness and greater determination. Beloved ones, when you have lived for centuries in human creations and accumulation which has been gathered up to this time, you of course do not realize it, but the feeling, the power and the energy released through discord has made this condition of today. In order to reverse, dissolve and consume it, you must know you are undoing in a few weeks or a few months what you have been centuries, hundreds of centuries accumulating. If you really understand and know your privilege today is the greatest privilege of all your pilgrimages upon earth, you will realize the great mercy of the great law of life, which provided a means of doing it. You will remember the great Astrea, myself, beloved Saint Germain, Jesus and various ones who are certain authority for certain activities. Do you suppose we just of our own desire became this? Oh no! The great law of life, which is governed by those great beings whom beloved Saint Germain has presented to you, as the central focus of power for this system of worlds, made us the authority for these special activities. Then you know that we act wholly through the authority of life. Your higher mental body knows your requirement, why you are in this particular embodiment, and what brought you here. We may not interfere with that, unless we receive the call from your I Am presence, through your higher mental body. Do not come back and say to the messengers, there is a contradiction. Beloved ones, there could not be a contradiction in the law of life. It is the individual's lack of understanding, which some people seize upon and by which they try to find discrepancies. This law of life is unerring. It makes no mistakes. We live in accord with it and are obeying it when your higher mental body calls to us, for the assistance which must be rendered. Not a thing in all human creation could prevent it. Let us clear this. You might say, why does the higher mental body, whose focus of life is all-wise and all-powerful, call on us? The messengers have explained, but I want you to have it definitely clear this time. When you have accumulated about you all the discord which is your creation of the past, you do not always obey the direction from your higher mental body. We, as ascended beings having gone through all this process, having attained our ascension through self-conscious effort, through this identical application, now the consciousness which we are, knows every requirement. You will pardon me, if I use this expression, but the stubborn human being, who will not yield and respond to the impulse from its own higher mental body, must sometimes be given assistance, in order to let that impulse through. When we pour our light radiation, which is our means of assistance, we take out of the individual's feeling, the stubborn rebellion or resistance, so the power of its presence can get through to render the service. Now do you understand why in this class, you feel so wonderful, you feel so at peace and rest, and you feel as though you could accomplish anything? Because the stilling of your human has made it possible for the current of energy from your presence to flow forth unqualified by anything but the harmony which is within your feeling. When individuals come into the room to criticize and condemn, they are filled with turmoil in their feeling. They could not receive anything if it were to save their lives. It would be impossible. Therefore, they should be honorable enough to stay away. This is the law I am citing to you, the law of your life, each one's life. Therefore, those who have a desire to revolve discord, find discrepancies, or something wrong, will find it, because the wrong is in their own consciousness and feeling, and so far as they are able to see, they see only what is within their own feeling. Their feeling is their desire world, and they only desire what is within their own feeling. That is why one who is out of harmony, coming into the room, would not receive anything, except sometimes to get so uncomfortable, that one would go out. In the realization of your privilege today, will you take a firm command on yourselves, knowing the simple requirements? It is not much to do really, when it enables you to have such a release, that you will never again know what it is, to meet the problems of the outer world with fear and trembling. Oh, think of it, beloved children of earth, here is this great presence of all life, which is giving you life and intelligence and beating your heart, functioning every activity of your body, doing all this for you. Can't you give just a little obedience, the little which is required, to let the light from the presence flow untouched by human qualification, in order to render this service and release the happiness and perfection which is just waiting to push itself through today? The simplicity of it is what mankind has overlooked. Do you see why the great wisdom compelled these books to come forth in simple language and the understanding which all might grasp? It is the only way mankind can get the clearness, the perfect understanding of life. All said in those books, every explanation, is the law of the action of your life. Everyone's life. Our life. When we say to you, beloved ones, we made this identical application, we mean every word of it. There is but one application in the universe which sets mankind free. It is first, the understanding that you have an individualized God presence above you, the distance makes no difference. From your I am presence comes the stream of life and energy anchoring into your own heart, and it gives you life, intelligence and activity. It is the only thing in the world which will give mankind freedom. Then, knowing you have brought yourselves into this condition, by the lack of understanding and the unwillingness to do certain things, or by not knowing you should do certain things, it has allowed discord to accumulate for centuries. The great mercy of life has said, now my children, I will give you one more opportunity. This is life for the moment speaking to you. I have brought forth from my secret chamber of life, the fullness of the understanding of life. The one who is vicious will not understand this, of course, because he or she cannot understand anything but his or her own viciousness, for such a person does not want to, but the one who is sincere and in earnest, who will still himself or herself, will know without one word from anybody the truth of this instruction. Every heart knows it, and if every heart is left alone, it will continue to know it daily, with greater power and expansion of the light. The blessed ones, who do not realize the need of standing within the radiance of their own I am presence, and refusing to listen to false gossip, will be wavering for the time being. It will make it more difficult for themselves to apply this law, until they have the evidence within themselves in their own experience, of the infinite power of this law and its application to produce exactly that for which they call. You have heard the messenger say it again and again, your call is compelled to be answered. Why? Now notice this point. What is it within you which makes the call? What is the intelligence, the energy, the light which enables you to voice the words or feel the feeling? It is life, isn't it? Could there be anything else? It is life, and if left alone to its perfection, it will always cause you to feel and do the right thing. Then it is life, the secret of life revealing itself to you. Why has it not done so before? Because that secret of life could only be revealed and held in its purity by those who had freed themselves from earth's limitations. Do you not see? How? Could one yet in the limitations of your world give you the fullness of life without limitations? It would not be possible. Therefore, we who have attained our freedom from these limitations know exactly how to do it. Every human being or every being while that one was still in the human quality, who gained freedom, came through this same application, because there is only one way. It is to understand your individualized I am presence, its laws, its whereabouts, its connection with you and your connection with it, and then apply the law of your being. Again, why are we needed? Because our words are cups which carry the ascended Master's perfection and qualities into your feeling world, your life and its activity. That is why you need us. Does it sound like we urged ourselves upon you? I trust not, but this is the law of life. Do you expect your children in kindergarten or the first grade to understand the advanced studies in your schools? Would we expect you in your present state to suddenly transform yourselves and understand with the fullness which we do? That would hardly be reasonable, would it? Yet, there will be individuals among you in the next 20 years, who will to the outer sense seem to do this. In fact Bob, Rex, Nada and Pearl have, but it was my great joy and privilege to render the service, which almost did that, because their life streams happen to be clean and free from too much discord. You have never received an explanation for it, have you? I am sure the messengers will appreciate this themselves. Why was it Rex, Bob, Nada, Pearl and the messenger were brought to me? Because in previous lives, they had come within a continued harmonious activity and radiance. In a former embodiment, which it is not necessary for me to describe, they made a mighty decree, understanding at that time the law of rebirth. They decreed with a powerful mighty decree, in all following embodiments, until they attained their perfection, They would only take on embodiments where they were in perfect harmony, and of course it had to be fulfilled. There have been many who have done it, but this is one of the instances in which it has been my joy to assist and to explain to you the reason for it. I could say many things to you today individually, but it is not necessary at this time. Perhaps it is asking a little too much, but if you would spend 5 minutes at night just before going to sleep, and direct your undivided attention to me, I might be able to do some very joyful things for you, or to assist you to do them. Let me remind you of the great power and privilege which is yours. We have not thought it wise to say too much, but you today in this atmosphere cannot misunderstand it. Charge your higher mental body on going to sleep, to pour back its mighty currents of energy, healing if that is required, harmonizing or controlling your physical body. If you would call it to take full action on your awakening in the morning, you would find some very joyful and sometimes astounding results. Will you remember your higher mental body is the governor of you and your world out here, if given a chance? Because of discord, it has not been able to do its work. Through your power or requalifying and clothing the energy, which goes out into your world, it produced the result of the feeling with which it was clothed. If you want to maintain harmony in your feeling, then charge your higher mental body to make you do it. It is only waiting for the invitation. Now mark you. The difference between the human effort to do something and making the call to the intelligence and power which has the authority to do it. The human of itself has no authority. For instance, when you are using what we term the human will, it is the gathered energy in the outer activity of your world and you charge that forth. It is filled with human qualities and of course it does not produce the results you want. When you turn to your presence and call its power, which is light, self-luminous intelligent substance into action, it knowing no resistance nor interference, you are bound to get the results of perfection. I mean outside of your outer achievement which is required. In addition to your outer accomplishment, you have called into action the greater power of perfection into your feeling world. This is the greatest need of today. Will you feel it and hold to it with definite precision, so you may have this quick, great eternally sustained and everlasting blessing? Do you realize, beloved ones, there is being rendered for you the same identical service, a part of it, which was rendered Rex, Bob, Nada, and Pearl? They were brought to us, we are brought to you, to render this service, because of the conditions which exist and the need of the world. There is no time and in other ways, you are not prepared to come to us, as they did in India and in the Royal Teton or the Cave of Symbols. Therefore, we must come and give you the assistance. We never could have done it in the world, if you had not been made acquainted with your I Am presence, and been making these earnest determined calls for your freedom and perfection. Do you see now, you are beginning to comply with the law of your life and return to it, something of what it has given you. I urge you today, do not mind, if we keep repeating these things, because it is so necessary. Charge, keep charging, yourselves with the perfection of your presence, with self-control, with discrimination and all the various qualities you wish to have brought forth. Stand unyielding, because there is never one of your calls which can fail. I want you to realize that. Let me show you how impossible it is for any call to fail. If you made an earnest sincere call to your presence for anything, and you, for an unexpected reason, became voluntarily disturbed, the energy for the fulfillment could not come forth. It would wait there, and when you became harmonious enough again, it would come through and do its work. It is the law of life and is why the messengers have said to you, when you call your presence into action, it is an eternally sustained activity. It is an eternally sustained achievement and you do not have to repeat and repeat it. When you call your presence into action and the result is produced, it is there and nothing has to be repeated. It is why everything in the application of your presence is a permanent accomplishment. We want you to feel this, for in the glory of your life, the stream of energy which gives you life, is all the power and intelligence there is anywhere in the world, so far as your individual world is concerned. It is the only part you can contact. You cannot go anywhere outside your own world, dear hearts, it is impossible. You touch the world of others, but that does not belong to you. The only thing is the perfecting of your own self and your world, and when you do it, you will find all around you changing too. I know of no one thing which gives you a clearer definite idea of what one individual in the presence of others with the proper understanding, can do through his or her radiance, than the servant in the house. That play illustrates to mankind how one with a great calm outpouring of this radiance can harmonize, bless and bring into perfection every one within his or her environment, if that one be strong enough to stand untouched by the surrounding discord. You as I am students today are in a position to do this, if you but realize it. You can stand in the midst of your world and hold a great calm serenity and peace. Then, as you call the powers of your presence to go forth, its radiance will go out, and all about you will become harmonized and bless you. When you do not do that, it is because you allow your attention to be fixed on the discord about you, instead of the powers of the presence which control it. I am very grateful for the opportunity to bring this forth today, and to be a part of your happiness and your love. The great volume of your love which has gone forth from this room will remain an eternal memory in this city. We are utilizing that to the fullest extent, and when certain things are shortly accomplished, we shall return to bless you with the fullness which you could scarcely comprehend today. Remember, in the great kindly outpouring of the Ascended Master's love and blessings, is the open door to your complete freedom. I do not mean you should allow conditions of inharmony to submerge you, or individuals walk over you, humanly speaking. Not at all, but in the great calm majesty of your presence, no one will want to walk over you, no one will want to disagree with you, if the radiance is sufficient. That is why, beloved ones, so many times vicious individuals have come to the messenger, and usually he stands perfectly quiet, until his radiance has an opportunity to enfold them, then their viciousness is gone. So it is with every one of you. Every one of you today is an outpouring of your great presence of life which is all harmony, all power, and perfection. You are now understanding how to keep your feeling so harmonious, you. Do not requalify its energy as it goes forth. Therefore, its power is 1,000-fold greater than it was before, when you continued to requalify it, with the feeling which was within you. I am so grateful, for I see so many of you who are going to be able to hold that harmony, and therefore, win your victory so quickly. I shall say something else which I trust will give you great happiness. For 283 of the I am students, time and space has been set aside. It means, the pressure of your human creation is withheld from you, and much of the pressure of earth. This will make your application much easier, much more powerful. So I say, from today, enter into the fullness of your life, by your earnest sincere application. Do not speak of your experiences or your achievement to anyone else. Hold your heart the secret sanctuary, the secret chamber of all the glory of your presence, and let it first fill your world. Just go right on, with your own application, and let the powers of life, your presence, flood your being and world with all it is. Thus you save yourself from handling human opinions and their interference with your world. Many times, we have seen the blessed students mention some experience, some application to another, and a few days later find it had all vanished. All the joy which they had experienced had gone. Hold all your achievement in the sacredness of your own heart. Look neither right nor left, but go on in your application and have the joy, glory, and freedom which life will give you, for all this is but life. You are being made acquainted with your life, and how to call its great perfection into action and manifestation into a world where human creation has reigned for centuries. Now the light is taking its dominion, and don't mind if human things about you struggle and resist. Remember, so far as your world is concerned, when you call this light into action, it knows no resistance nor interference, but proceeds to perfect your world. As your harmony goes out, you will assist, by its radiation, everyone you contact to attain a like perfection. I thank you and bless you, beloved ones, with the fullness of my love, and clothe you in the consciousness which is mine, that feeling which is mine, to endeavor to give you the assistance of self-control in its fullness. Then you may enjoy the fullness of the perfection of life, as it flows forth into perfect manifestation in your outer world, and releases its activity and experience. I thank you.